Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Easy Mathematics. In this video, we are going to discuss about the definition of probability. There are different ways by which we can define the probability. The most massively used definition is the classical definition of probability, which is also known as the mathematical probability or priori probability. So now, for the definition of classical probability, if a random experiment or a trial results in inexhaustive, mutually exclusive and equally likely outcomes, out of which M are favorable to the occurrence of an event E, then the probability P of occurrence or happening of E, usually denoted by PE, which is given by here PE, which is given by number of favorable cases divided by the number of exhaustive cases. Number of favorable cases may denote by small m and the exhaustive cases are denoted by small n. N is definitely exhaustive, mutually exclusive and equally likely. Remember, this definition for the different outcomes should be mutually exclusive, exhaustive and equally likely. Otherwise, this will not happen. This is the restriction, in fact, for this definition of the probability, that the cases are exhaustive, mutually exclusive and equally likely. So, all those equally likely exhaustive cases are there. Among them, m number of favorable cases are there for a corresponding event E. Then, the probability of that particular event E is m divided by n. This is the classical definition of the probability. Here remember that m is always greater than equals to 0 and n definitely always greater than 0 and m is always less than equals to n even, because n is the total number of cases, which are, we can say, the sample space even. So, n is the total number of cases and m are the outcomes taken from that n cases. So, m never exceeds n, always m is less than or equals to n. So, on that basis, we can say this probability value always lies in between 0 or 1, 0 and 1, because m may be 0. If it is 0, then the value is 0, and if m is equals to n, then the value is 1, and this is the minimum and the maximum value for the probability for any event. Otherwise, the value lies in between 0 and 1 always. The second type of definition is the statistical or the empirical probability. Statistical or empirical probability, for the definition we can say, if an experiment is performed repeatedly under essentially homogeneous and identical conditions, then the limiting value of the ratio of the number of times the event occurs to the number of trials, as the number of trial becomes indefinitely large, is called the probability of happening of the event. It being assumed that the limit is finite and unique. Just remember, here the number of trial may be infinite in number. We will take the limiting case here. So here the probability for, we will find out it is the number of times the event occurs and the total number of trials. All number of trials is denoted by n, capital N, and the number of times the event occur is denoted by small m. So depending upon that, this m and n, its limiting value, that is n tends to infinity, in this limiting value, whatever be the finite limit, we will find out. This one represents the empirical probability for that particular event. Here n performed repeatedly under essentially homogeneous and identical conditions. These are the two special definitions for the probability. Both the definitions have some limitations. Likewise, the classical or the priori probability for, here the cases are, or the number n should be exhaustive, mutually exclusive and equally likely. and definitely n is a finite number. So if for the infinite number of times we will find out, or n is infinite, for that case the classical definition of probability will fail. So if we go for the empirical probability or the statistical probability, then that situation might be solved out, but it is a restriction here that all the number of trials, whatever the experiments will done, all should be done under the essentially homogeneous and identical conditions. It might not always possible to have the conditions are identical and homogeneous always. That's why some changes might occur. But anyways, there are few limitations for both of them, but both the definitions are required to explain the probability. With one example, we should explain this probability definition. So find the probability of drawing a card from a well-shuffled pack of cards such that the drawn card is a king. So first of all, we should find out the at first we find out from a well-shuffled pack of cards. If we draw one card, then it should be a king. We should find out its probability. So at first, in a pack of cards, total 52 cards are there. So that all possible outcomes are 52. So this is the total number of cases which are mutually exclusive and equally likely. Now our drawn card is a king. That means the favorable cases are 4, because in a pack of cards where 52 cards are there, total 4 different suites of king are present. So total 4 different kings are there. So these 4 are the favorable case that the drawn card is a king. So that the number of favorable case, that is m, is equals to 4, and n, the total number of cases are 52. So that the probability of that the card drawn is a king is, it is 4 divided by 52. If instead of a king it is a queen, then also the same probability, because number of queens are also 4 in a well-shuffled pack of 52 cards. So if the B is an event which denotes the drawn card is a queen, then its probability is also 4 by 52. So this is the m is 4 here and n is 52 here. Let us go for another example. 2 dice are thrown together. Find the probability that the sum is divisible by 2. Initially we think for the sum is divisible by 2. So let the event A denotes the sum is divisible by 2. So here at first we should find out the total number of favorable cases and the total number of outcomes. One dice is there and there are 2 dice are there and they are thrown together. So 2 dice thrown together, each dice have the outcome 6 individually. 6 different outcomes are there for both the dice. So all possible combinations are here we can find out. So in the first die we will find out 1, and in the second die maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Likewise in the first die there is 2 and the second die may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 again. And likewise if we just chalk out all possible outcomes, then we will find out their total 36 outcomes. All possible 36 outcomes are there. So n value is 36. Now the favorable cases we should find out. The event is the sum is divisible by 2. Sum is divisible by 2 means here in each order pair we will find out that which order pair gives the total as an even number. All those order pairs which give as an even number, all are divisible by 2. So that all these pink colored order pairs are divisible by 2, because 1 plus 1, 2, which is divisible by 2. 1 plus 3, that is also divisible by 2 because the sum is 4. Here look, these orange colors, these order pairs are also divisible by 2. So it is 1 plus 5, this is 6. 2 plus 4, it is 6. So all are divisible by 2. So in this way, if we count all the green and the pink and the orange colors, then we will find out that total 18 such order pairs are there which are divisible by 2. So the favorable cases are 18 and the total number of cases are 36. So that we will find out the total probability of the sum is divisible by 2 is 18 divided by 36, so that it is 1 upon 2. Again, instead of 2, if we say another event where the sum is divisible by 3, then what happens? So, in the same way, here the total number of cases are 36 and the favorable cases for we find out all those order pairs where the sum is divisible by 3. So, all these green colors and these orange colors are the order pairs which are divisible by 3. Just look here, 2 plus 1, it is divisible by 3. 2 plus 4 means 6, it is divisible by 3. So, we will find out total 12 such order pairs which are divisible by 3 in this entire 36 order pairs. So, the favorable cases are 12. That means the total probability, the probability value for the event B, probability value corresponding to the event B is here 12 divided by 36. So, that is the answer. So, it is 1 upon 3. One thing should be noted here that for any given situation, what is the total number of sample space, that means how many total number of elements are there in the sample space, to find that one the formula is n to the power of m, where n is the sample space contains n events, where n is a sample space contains n events and m is the repetition of the outcomes. So that here if we consider this particular example, then we will find out here that each dice have 6 different outcomes. So n is 6 and there are 2 different dice, so that m is 2. So that the total number of outcomes are n to the power m means 6 to the power 2, that is 36. Instead of the dice, if suppose it is a coin, then suppose a coin thrown 6 times. So one coin means it have 2 different outcomes, either head or tail, and it is thrown 6 times. That means n is 2 here and m is 6 here. So 2 to the power 6, that is the total number of all possible outcomes which are in the sample space. So in this way we can find out the total number of elements or total number of values which are there in the sample space for any particular situation. After that we will find out the favorable cases, and depending upon that we calculate the probability. Beyond this one, we have one more definition of probability, that is called the axiomatic definition of probability. So for the axiomatic definition of probability, we can say S be a sample space of a random experiment if to each event A of the set of all possible events of S we associate a real number PA, then PA is called the probability of event A if the following axioms hold. So what are the axioms here? So the first axiom is for every event A, probability of A is greater or equals to 0. That is very obvious. First of all, S is the any sample space, A is an event, then a real number PA is associated with this event A, which is called the probability if this following axioms hold. And here the first axiom is probability of A should be greater or equals to 0, and that is very obvious. This PA, how we will find out, that we will know from the previous definitions of probability, and here this value obviously is greater than 0. And for the sure event, that is if our event space is S itself, then PS is equals to 1. And the third axiom is for any finite number of countably infinite, for any finite number or countably infinite number of mutually exclusive events A1, A2, A3 in this way of S, we will find out probability of A, that is probability of the union of all those events is equals to the probability of the events individually and their summation. So in particular, for two mutually exclusive events A and B, probability of A union B we can write as probability of A plus probability of B. Remember, these two events are mutually exclusive events. That means A and B have no common elements. If there is a common element, then what happens? That we will disclose in the next video. So, for example, we have two examples in this video, and same example if we repeat here for the axiomatic definition of probability, then we will find out here. The question is the either king or a queen. The same question here, this either word is included. That means previously we calculate the what is the probability of drawn a king card or a queen card. Now the question is the drawn card is either a king or a queen. That means the first, this one is the probability of the event A, that is the drawn card is a king, and this is the B event, which is the drawn card is a queen. So probability of A and probability of B we have calculated. Now the either a king or a queen, so that for the probability of A union B we are supposed to find out. So that should be probability of A plus probability of B, because there are no common between these two events. So the total probability we will find out 2 by 13. This is the value of the probability which we will find out from the axiomatic definition of probability. So in this way we can find out the probability for the mixed events. Now in the next video we are going to disclose some theorems which are deducted from these axioms and this theorem of probability. So thank you all for this. Have a nice day.